Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you are excited for a big grid with arrows, because today's voted on puzzle by supporters was this big grid with arrows by MaizeGator, who I got to at least virtually see at a math conference the other day, which was cool. So the voters for this puzzle are David, Plonktime, Russ, David, Josh, Luda, and Nordy. So thank you all for your support. I look forward to that, and I look forward to this puzzle, which seems like it's going to be cool. Excuse me. I should note at the link, by the way, there is this example image, so you are welcome to tab through to the example image as we are doing it. Also, I should mention that we have the ongoing Octaquadri challenge. So if you are interested in setting some puzzles and getting some feedback and seeing me do them on stream, or you've never set something before but you'd like to try it, I think that the Octaquadri challenge should be fairly approachable. I think the gain on my mic is too high. I'm going to turn it down a smidge. We'll see if I'm too quiet, but I'm blowing out the end of the mic a lot. So if you've never said something before, I think the Octaquadri challenge would be a great place to start. Yeah, whatever I was doing the other day, Tristan, you had me turn the gain way up, and so I think probably that is why it is too high. I'll slowly dial it back until it sounds like this. Okay, so anyway, that is enough about that. If you have any questions about the Octaquadri challenge, by all means, feel free to ask. And I will happily answer them. You can ask here or in the Discord or whatever. Also, feel free to ask in the Discord for people who you would like to test your Octaquadri packs as you wish. Alrighty. So let's look at this puzzle by MaizeGator. So we have to divide the grid into ominoes, Fillomino style. So our ominoes of the same size can't touch. So for example, this would be a 6 omino. This would be a 7 omino, and you just write into every cell the size of the omino. So 7 and 6, for example. So the only rule of Polyomino is that you can't make same size ominoes touch, which is usually not that powerful, but occasionally will do something. But mostly that rule doesn't do anything. Except in very narrow niche circumstances that usually consist of saying that you can't have two monominos next to each other. We also have a yin-yang puzzle, so we need to shade some cells such that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected, and all unshaded cells are orthogonally connected. No 2x2 area can be fully shaded or fully unshaded. And so I'm at my SudokuCon talk, which is now in like 2 weeks or something. I'm going to be talking a lot about the math of yin-yang. And so one thing I appreciate here, whether it was intentional or not, is that this is an 11 by 11 grid. And odd by odd grids for yin-yangs are, I think, nicer to the solver because there are a lot of crazy things that happen in even by even yin-yang grids. So, for example, in an even by even yin-yang grid, these two cells are always the same color, and actually that goes around the border. And so that sort of falls in the like undiscoverable global condition thing that is the kind of thing I tend to dislike in setting. So it's probably nice to avoid the things based on undiscoverable global conditions. Anyway, there are also some assorted conditions about the border that are true in any yin-yang, but we're going to hopefully not have to think about those at all. So we also have parity. All odd ominoes are shaded, and all even ominoes are unshaded. And we also have the yin arrows. Numbers on cells with an arrow indicate the number of polyominoes of the opposite shading seen in the direction of the arrows. Okay, the number of cells. Okay. No, sorry, the number of, not the number of cells, the number of ominoes. Okay, so these numbers are both 1 or 2, and these numbers are both 1, 2, or 3 naively. Hey, Franco, how are you doing? Uh, let's see. This is also 1, 2, 3. This, I guess, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Do we have any others that I should flag? Row 4, column 8 is also 1, 2, 3, right? Just the ones of these that we can think more sophisticatedly about it later, but I like to sort of start by marking the ones that can be, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. This one can also be 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm feeling charitable today. I'll go ahead and mark it. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, no, that one's up to 6. We're not going to mark the 6, but this one's also up to 5. Quite often, the ones that are relatively low, thank you, Ron, are interesting because they end up being barriers. So, like, I know that, for example, this number can't possibly be larger than 6, because if it was larger than 6, it would need to grow out of this. And so that's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, this one is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's just giving you some idea of the kind of reason why I would care about marking these ones that are little, is because they tend to constrain once you know enough about these things. Let's see. Alrighty. So let's think about how this works. So if this was 3, these would need to all be 2, is the first thing that chat was row 7, column 7 is marked with a 4. The 4 is slightly overhanging this arrow. But if this was a 3, these would all have to be 2s. And that's a problem because of the fact that this 2 wouldn't have anywhere to grow. That's pretty clever, actually. So yeah, so the Josh and Emma have teamed up to sort of say these things can't be 3s. So that is even more interesting, perhaps. So I kind of feel like I'm supposed to just case check this, because if I'm just sort of looking for, like, can this really be 2? Because if this is 2, then these are both 1. Which would mean that would be 2, and that would be 1. That would actually work, actually. That seems fine. For what it's worth. It's possible I should enlist thinking about the border, although I'd rather not if I could avoid it. Let's see. Yeah, Emma is saying that by case checking, these are both the same pair. Maybe we're not actually supposed to think about this, because this is kind of ugly, at the moment. Let's see. I bet we could do better. I'm trying to think about things like, can I say something about, like, something would be a checkerboard or something? But yeah, if the ends are different, it definitely means that there's a yin-yang border break, which is interesting because in a yin-yang puzzle, one of the sort of unwritten rules of a yin-yang is that the border is either all one color, which doesn't come up super often, or it's composed of 2 runs of exactly one color. So, like, this could all be blue and this rest of it could all be orange. You can't actually split it without violating the fact that every group has to be connected. That is true, right? There's definitely a border break in row 1 somewhere, because otherwise this would be a 0. So there's a border break in there somewhere. I agree with that. Now, it doesn't tell me a whole lot until I find the other border break. I'm just squinting, trying to see if there's anything better I can say about any of the things here. Yeah, like, if these two are the same parity, of course they're equal. Is there any way this isn't 3 1s and a 2? Yeah, I guess these could both be 2 and these could both be 1 and it would be okay, yeah, 2 1 1 2 also works, yeah, none of the ominoes can contain a 2 by 2. Yeah, so none of the ominoes can contain a 2 by 2 means that this can't actually be a 6. That's a good point, because remember I said this is at most 6 because it can contain at most these cells, but actually that's not true. It can't actually contain all of those cells, because then it would contain this 2 by 2. So actually this is at most 5. Which would maybe also have some problems. Let's see. Okay, what else are we doing? Let's see. This is at most 6. I guess I will go ahead and mark the ones that are at most 6, just because I think it'll be useful later. Yeah, I really feel like I'm supposed to say something I'm really not going to like about the top left corner, but I'm trying to live generously, as they say, by not sort of just descending into madness with the top left corner. We don't quite have these two pointing at each other. I mean, I guess there's always a 1 and a 2 in here is one thing we can say. I don't know how exciting that is, but there's always at least 1 1 and at least 1 2. Let's see. Hey, tall cat. Yeah, and as there's a 2, there have to be 2 1s. I agree. Yeah, that I'm comfortable saying. I don't think that feels bifurcating. Yeah, so there's at least 2 1s. And these can't both be 2, right? These could both be 1, but they can't both be 2. Because if these are both 2, then it makes both of these 1s, but the 1s are lying. So I actually know that one of these is a 1, and I know that one of these is a 1. So whatever these cells are, I know they're not 1. They're 2 plus. So I can go ahead and fill in, like, these are certainly from 2, 3, 4, 5 for the same reason as previously noted about this one. Now, these can both be 1. These can't both be 2 either, right? If these are both 2, well, then it's immediately broken if they're both 2. So one of these 2 is also 1. So this is also a 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's good. Now, I don't think I know that some of these others couldn't be 1 if they wanted to be. I'm only not marking that these aren't 1 because I don't have a fantastic way to do that. Sometimes I mark them with like a little 2 to mean that they're a minimum of 2. But that might be messy. Annoyingly, I think it could even be that like these 2 are 2. No, these 2 can't both be 2, right? No, sorry. But these 2 could both be 2, for example. And I think that would work out okay. Yeah, we do have to be careful to avoid 2x2s and to avoid checkerboards. So if these are double 1s, one of these has to be odd. Exactly. Yeah, I think Jim has a moderately accurate. Like, I think it's accurate, although I don't really want to try and case check it to oblivion. But I think Jim has correctly identified what the options are. Like, it certainly would let us say, like, if we wanted to steal Emma's point from earlier, if you bash it hard enough, then these 2 have to be the same parity. But I don't even think that gets me anything. Why does that make row 2, column 2 a 2, Ron? Oh, Ron doesn't think this can be a 2. If this was a 2, it would make these double 1. Oh, no, not necessarily, sorry. It doesn't have to, because it could be the 2 that goes with one of these. Yeah, these are the same color, but I just don't think it does anything. Like, if it did anything, I mean, I would hate the step if it did something, but if it did something, I would do it. But I don't see how it does anything. Like, I like the deduction so far that I've thought has the most promise is that Emma pointed out that we need one of the border changes is in row 1. So if we could identify something about another border change, that would be really helpful. But I don't know that we can. Like, could we, like, is it possible there's has to be a border change in here for some reason? Like, maybe we should ask, like, can this always, but even that's not going to get us there. I don't think. Because that doesn't overlap cleanly with the arrow in row 1. Yeah, that's not going to quite get there, I don't think. And like, I don't know anything about the other corners, so it's not like I know anything, I don't think, about this whole mess, because I don't have any arrows that are like this one. Yeah, if there's a border change in here, both of the border changes are in here. I agree with that. This being a 1 is kind of interesting, but I don't think it's interesting enough to be useful, unfortunately. Let's see. It's so weird because this looks so break-in-y, but it doesn't do anything interesting as of yet. I'm trying to think about things like, what about those two? But like, if these are the same color, then that one is bigger than that one, but that seems like completely worthless. This is 10 total cells. Trying to decide things like, is it possible that there's no borders that cross about this? But yeah, I was looking at that exact thing of, can this really be 4? Because it forces something weird. But yeah, because like if I have that shape, it immediately forces this to be odd, which would be presumably bad. And if I did this, then this would have to be odd, and that would be that immediately, like, this immediately breaks. Because this now has to be odd, because otherwise, do this. Because this has to grow and it can't. So the only way that would work is some variation of this, in which case, of course, this has to be odd, and it could be a 1 maybe, but then this would also have to be odd, and then it breaks. So yeah, so there aren't any 4s up here, I think I'm prepared to say, because I certainly can't do that, or we've got a problem. So yeah, there's no 4s up here. It really feels like we're going the wrong way in terms of deductions that one could make, but so, and maybe a different way to say it is, unless there's a border change in this corner, these 3 are one color and this is the other color. I don't know if that's interesting, but I do agree with Emma, this can't be 5, because if this was 5, you can't make a 2x2, and so the only 5 you could make is this, but now by connectedness, that's also odd, and that doesn't work. So this is actually only a 2 or a 3. And so now this, does that mean this can't be a 5? Is if this was a 5 now, it would have to be those 5. That would have to be a 2. And it could grow and be part of one of those 2s. And at least naively, that works. I'm not prepared to exhaust too far into that, but at least it seems plausible. Because it would join one of these 2. Ron. So let's see. Okay, so now Ron is saying if this is a 2, it forces that to be a 3. Uh, uh, I agree with that, VJ. There's definitely an even and an odd in this 2x2. Yeah, I agree. This if the second this is a 2, this is a 3. I agree with that. Should make 2s there and 3s here. Uh, oh, you're saying if this is a 2, it forces this to be a 3, and now this is nothing? That's true. So this can't be a 2, so it's definitely odd, I guess is the point. Okay. Now... So if these are even, they're both 2. And Josh claims that breaks now. Uh, that's 2. Those are both 1. Yeah, I guess Emma's way of counting this is to say that I need an even in here, but that even can only be 2. So one of these 3 cells is a 2. But like that being a 2 doesn't actually work. I think is Emma's claim. Uh, 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 this is disgusting, VJ. Sorry. I get at most 5 even ominoes in row 1, not at most 5 even cells, though. I could put as many even cells as I want in row 1 if they're part of like an 18 omino or something. Because the arrows count ominoes, not cells. I do agree one of these 3 things is 2. Seems useful. But the like... I'm really trying to avoid like the forcing this breaking these both being 2 feels painful. So if these are both 2, then I guess the point is that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 3. Right. Okay. Emma has it the nice way. There is an even in the top bit. That even in the top bit needs to connect to the diagonal because the evens in the grid are connected. So the even 2 omino needs to touch an even omino that's not a 2 omino, but we have painstakingly ruled every even out of this that's not 2. So there is a 2 up here that has to touch a thing. So therefore, that says these aren't 2. So these are also odd. And so this is even, and it is a 2. And we can bring out Zach for a 2 dance. I saw Zach coming up. Oh, sorry. Zach is in his studio. 1 second. Bring back Zach for our 2 dance. Boop, boop, boop. Dooka, dooka, dooka. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Dooka, dooka, dooka. Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Now that does force this to be odd, I believe, because if this were even, it would immediately create a checkerboard because I couldn't make that a 2. So that's odd. And I think symmetrically the same thing is true here. If this was even, it would be a 2, which would immediately create a checkerboard, which we're not allowed to do. So one of these 2 is a 2. And we've said before the 2-2-1-1 combination doesn't work. The only places we could put 2s on this diagonal were if both of these were 2s. By the way, all of these are 5s. I should probably point out, because if they were anything but 5, then I would have to make this collection of 5 cells as a sum of odd numbers. Oh, I guess it... Oh, no, it can't. And it can't be 1, 3, 1 just because of how the geometry is laid out. It'd need to be 3 odds. So we can fill in the 5s. Right. And so we know the 5 has to get out through a 1. Yeah, I think we have to go back to the case checking stuff of what were the possibilities for this diagonal. And so it was either there's 1 2 in here or there's 2 2s on the outside, but now we know it's not the 2 2s on the outside, so now we know that one of these is 2, and so these are both 1. So we have that. So we have those. So David, the reason is because if one of these was a 2, it needs to connect to the evens in the rest of the grid, and it would need to connect through this diagonal. However, by Fillomino rules, you can't have a 2 touching a 2. So if there was a 2 up here, it would need to touch a 4 or more and then get to the 2 over here, and that doesn't work. Yeah, there's got to be a lot of evens in here because of this 5 is saying it counts 5 even ominoes over here. Let's see. Right. All the blues in this row need to connect, because I can't do like blue and then blue like that, because then my blues around the border aren't connected. So the fact that there's at least 5 means if I look at this and do my thing, 5 that way would be this. So the overlap is this by the... God, what is that pencil puzzle called that deduction's from? Anyway, these are all even. That's the upshot. I, for some reason, can never remember. Nonograms, there we go. Or whatever the Nintendo official version is called of nonograms. Okay, and I've got to be very careful in here because these can't all grow down. And I still need 5 omino. Okay, so actually, I think I can prove there need to be more than 5 blues. Because if there's only 5 blues, that means these are 5 separate ominoes and they all grow down. And then we get a bajillion 2x2s of blue. And we're not supposed to get a bajillion 2x2s of blue. So we need at least 6, in fact, which means that these are also blue. So if I look at the sort of minimum size through here of these ominoes, yeah, we can stick down every other one, basically. Otherwise, we have to go across. So, so we could do 2, 1. So we could do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And I think if you counted that out, I think that means we have to do this. I think that's the bare minimum, actually, is to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So I think all of this is blue. And I think we know that we have to go 1, 2, 1, 2. And we get actual, I can put in my dashed grid. I can put in my borders here. Because that's the only way I think this could possibly work. Do we agree with that deduction? Because I can't have 2 things consecutively that stick out. And if I do anything other than this, if I try and have more 2s, then we have a problem. Okay, and this is even. So if you believe this, then you know that this is even, and you know that this is odd. And so therefore, oh, I was going to say therefore I know that that's even, but I don't know about that. But I know that this is even. So now I know that that's odd. And I know that that's odd. And so therefore this is a 2. And therefore this is an even that's more than 2. And this is an even that's more than 2. Okay. Oh, row 5, column 1. Sorry, row 5, column 1 also grows down. Thank you, Ron. So therefore that grows. And so now this is a 2. So we can grow all of that. Oh, I can remove that little gray. Okay, and we can fill in my 5, fill in the border. Let's see. Okay. So this is at least 4. Okay, so this in particular does not grow into this cell. So my at least 4 needs to grow either that way or that way. In fact, this can't be 3 anymore, because if this was 3, I'd need 3 evens along the diagonal, and I don't have it. So this is always orange is the point. Because if this is a 1, it says that one of these is even. This is a trick that shows up sometimes. Is I'm saying either one of these is even or 2 of them are odd, but those are the same statement. And so this is always orange because, well, always, regardless of what this is, it's counting 3 cells. So you get this exact arrangement, which forces that to be blue, forces the orange to come out here. And now this blue has to grow over here. Now this orange has to grow out here. Yeah, we've seen that trick show up a couple times, but it's always cute when it comes up. It is the sort of thing that is hard to sort of force as a setter, but it's neat when it comes up. Let's see. Okay, now I have to keep in mind I don't know anything about the distribution of these. Because all the oranges need to connect, Matt Laffey. Because of the yin-yang rule. So all the oranges need to connect, and this is the only way that orange can connect and the row 1, column 11 omino is blue. Anytime you have two cells like this that are bordering a two-cell thing, you get a little line. So I also get a little line here, and I get a little line here. Oh wait, sorry, that's not true. Sorry, I think I was lying. Those could be the same as long as they're not blue. They could both but here I do know actually they're different. There is a border here, but you need two things. They're not both blue because that would make a 2 by 2, and they're not both orange because then oh no, they could both be orange. I think these could both be orange and it would be okay. And I think these could both be orange and it would be okay. Okay, you're saying there's a border between these because if there's not a border between these, they're both odd, and so they're both 1. I see. Okay. Okay, we know there are 2 total odd ominoes along this whole shebang. And we do know things like if this cell is orange, we know that that makes the entire border orange. Right. There's also a border here, Jim points out, because if these two are the same color, or in part of the same omino, they're both 2s, and that doesn't work. Agree. Okay, this number now is actually interesting because now we know that there are 3 blues here. So this cell can't be blue by this arrow, because if this cell was blue, then it would make this cell an orange 4. So it can't do that. So, so this cell, oh, sorry. Right, sorry. We're counting ominoes, not cells. Never mind. So maybe what I said is not actually true. I do know these are all 1 omino for what it's worth. Like what? Oh, I don't know that these are all 1 omino, but I do know these are all 1 omino. Right. So I certainly know it's not a 4. So because those 2 are the same omino. So this can't possibly be even, because if it was even, it'd be saying I needed to see at least 2 orange ominoes along this line, which I don't. So this is always odd. But I know I don't see 1 omino along there, so I have to see 3 ominoes along there that are blue, which means that this, in fact, is blue. Now I need to avoid a checkerboard, so this, in fact, is blue, and this, in fact, is orange. And now this blue has to grow over here because we know it's not a... we know it's not a 2. And in fact, we know it's not a 2, so it also grows there. This orange has to grow just because the oranges are connected. And so this is not a 2 or a 4. We can continue bordering like that. Okay, we know that these cells are all 1 or 3 because they're odd and they aren't larger than 4. And now we can sort of force it. Like this can't possibly be a 1, and this can't possibly be a 1 because of the fact that it would immediately create... Actually, sorry, maybe that one? No. If this is a 1, it would be a big problem because it would create a 2 size 3 omino. So these are both, in fact, 3. And then one of these is a 1. We're not quite sure which yet. Josh would like me to make this cell orange. I can do that for Josh. Let's see. This could be 4 or 6. Okay, I do still need 2 oranges now, 2 orange ominoes in these 3 cells, which is going to be a little bit tight, but probably doable. People have set plenty of shameless Fillominoes. One of the Polyominoes I set was a double back Fillomino, and then it definitionally didn't have any shameominoes in it because everything needed to be visited by the loop twice. And I think I set one other Philomino that by definition didn't have shameominoes in it, but I don't remember what it was. Okay, yes, I should probably look at this number as being pointed out by Josh, because currently this number is certainly at most 3, and it can't actually be a 3, because if it was a 3, it would need to count everything, and it can't possibly count everything. So it's either a 1 or a 2. And so we're back in the same situation we were with this one, where this is either a 1 or a 2, and both ways, we say that there's 2 orange ominoes and 1 blue omino, right? By the way, these are all in the same omino because of that one clue I didn't ever mark. But basically, this cell's always blue is the upshot of that, which makes this blue by the 2x2 avoidance. Oh. Right. This could grow like this, is what you're saying. Is if this grows like this, then this actually sees the same omino only once. Okay. Right, there's definitely a border here. I agree. Oh, you're right. You're right. This is I misdid this. Right. I don't know about this because the blue, this is only counting blues, not oranges. Good catch. Yeah, we can do a little bit of blue stitching. We can't stitch that blue though. Oh, we can stitch this blue actually. Funnily enough, if these are separate blues, you immediately create a 2x2. That is very nice. I had not seen that. Let's see. This certainly can't be as large as 6 anymore because I know these are in the same omino. And I know that I'm at most 2 here because I'm either counting blues or oranges. So this isn't larger than 4, I can confidently say. Right, we can certainly link these, Emma points out, because of the real Fillomino deduction, the only Fillomino deduction that exists is that you can't put a 1 away from the end of something because it would put a 1 next to a 1. That is the only deduction that exists in a pure Fillomino puzzle. But that is very true here. If I try and separate these two, I put a 1 next to a 1. Oh yeah, Emma points out it's not even a 4. Because you need to get 4 even ominoes in here, and that would create a sorry. No, you need to get 4 odd ominoes, and there's not room for 4 odd ominoes. And it's never a 1, because then that would say that there's only 1 even omino in here, and we already see 2. So this is a 2 or a 3. Let's see. How much of this can I do already? Let's see. So, well, assuredly it's not a 5, because it's either counting evens or odds, and we've got at least 1 even. If this was a 4, we'd need 4 odds, which seems plausible. If this was 3, we'd need 3 evens, which seems plausible. The argument against coloring it was that there could be one sort of big omino, and if this omino came this way, then this would still be a 1. How dirty do I have to get my hands to see that the big omino doesn't work? It's not that bad, actually. If the thing to notice is that if you did do this, this is the minimum number of cells you could do it, and this cell can't be that big. So it's like, it's above my personal threshold, but not by far. So this just can't be the same omino as that. So therefore, we can apply this argument that says that this is always saying either there's 1 blue omino or 2 orange ominoes, and those are the same thing. So therefore, this is always orange. So therefore, this is blue. Now this can't be blue, because if this is blue, I force myself to make... Oh no, that would work. I could do 3 and 1. Never mind, sorry. Never mind, that's okay. Yep, it would just need to be in the right order. This could be a huge even number, Matt Laffey. I'm not claiming that this is not a huge even number. I'm just claiming that it is not... Oh, right. Sorry. It could even avoid that and then have come up like through here, right? So the proof was actually one step worse, because we actually needed to argue that you can't do something like this as well. So yeah, we did not give a valid proof that this is not possible. However, a valid proof exists because of this 3. So I can't make it with the omino going down through there, and I can't do it that way. So that does not work. I don't think that isolates a section of orange. Yeah, okay, I don't think I know anything about this yet. Definitely don't know anything about this yet. Right. This can only be 4 or 6. I agree with that, because if it that's basically what we just proved, in fact, is that this can't be larger than 6. Uh, because it can't take this cell without breaking the 3. And if it doesn't take that cell and it tries to get bigger, then it grows through this cell that's definitionally at most 6. Let's see. People are saying I should check whether this can really be 6. Because it would make all of these distinct oranges, which would have to do the like alternating trick. And the alternating is wrong. It's not actually 100% clear to me that the alternating is wrong. Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, sorry. It's not that at all. Because the alternating is actually right. The alternating is correct. The problem is, if this is a 6, then this can't be a blue 1. And so the point's actually quite distinct. It's not nearly as annoying as I thought it was. The point is that if this doesn't take this, then now I create a blue 2x2. So that's a 4. Okay. Now, I'm not sure that tells me... Oh, this still can't be a 6 because of the aforementioned bit about my blocking. If this is a 6 now, it would have to take this 2x2, right? There's no way it could get to 6 without taking that 2x2. Because of this clue, AFK. There's this clue which solely says that that exact thing doesn't happen. These two can't be separate, points out Emma, because if these two are separate, then they both grow down and create a 2x2 instantly. Agree with that. Right. This is not a 1. So it's an orange that's at least a 3. And several people in chat are pointing out that there's only one place for an orange that's at least a 3 to go, which is there. So this is a 3 or a 5. And these can be stitched together. Row 4, 5, column 7. Oh, yeah, the border like that. I think it can still be 1 or 2, can't it? I think if this is a 1, it's saying there's 1 even omino, and if this is a 2, it's saying there's 2 odd ominos, and both of those things are true, I believe. I do agree that this can't be a 5, because if you play out what this looking like being a 5 would look like by sort of force of the arrows, it would create a 2x2. So in fact, this is definitely a 3, and that's definitely a 3. So this is not a 3, because that would create a 3 omino that is too large, and so the last 3 goes there, like that. And so therefore that's for sure not a 3. This is now for sure even. It is a 2. This is even because I need to avoid a checkerboard. Let's see. I probably should look at what this 3 is counting. It's saying there's 3 even ominoes. Okay, so all of these are even is what it's telling me, because otherwise we've got a problem. So that is the 2, and that's the 1 up there, is what we've concluded. So that's blue to avoid a 2 by 2. That's orange to avoid a 2 by 2. But that orange is not a 1, and ergo it grows. Oh, right. And it's going to grow again, but we don't know where. This blue needs to grow because of that. Got this over here. I don't think I know if this is a 4 or not. Oh, right. This is blue, so as Matt Laffey points out, it needs to grow. So this now just can't be a 2. It can only be a 3. And so if that's a 3, that's also odd. And now by looking at our cases, it's only a 1. And this being a 3 means that I need this to be a 2, because if this is anything but a 2, then the 3 is a lie. Okay, so now this is at least a 4, so it's going to grow there for sure. Yeah, we can stitch all of that for sure. This blue can't grow, because if this blue grows, it grows down and now isolates this orange. So this is done and is a 4. And now for the same reason, this can't be blue, because if this was blue, it would isolate the orange. So this is orange, which makes this blue to avoid a 2 by 2. This we can certainly stitch. We can put in a little bit of bordering. We need to avoid a 2 by 2 here. Or sorry, we need to avoid a checkerboard here, I should say. So this is not 1, 3, or 5. It's only 2 or 4. Can put a border there. This 3 we know grows now, at least to there. And it can't grow to there, because if the 3 went to there, then that would be 5 3s touching, which we cannot do. So actually that finishes this piece. This orange grows because it's orange, and hence it is not a 2. And in fact, it grows more because it's not a 3 either. So we get an additional orange. We can certainly connect these two, and therefore these can't connect because it would be too big. So therefore this blue grows. This has gotten much smoother at the back end than the front end. This is grown, so this is also part of the 3. And then that gives me a 2 by 2 that I have to avoid, Jim points out. And this is a 2 by 2 I have to avoid. And then I have to avoid a checkerboard. And therefore this is a 2. Like so. This is at least a 4, but could be bigger perhaps. At least I have not yet thought about whether it can be anything else. Let's see. There's only 1 blue in all of this. So basically, if this 2 goes down, all of these are orange. I don't think I see an instant problem with that. Oh, I see. Okay, this 2, Emma points out. If I count down here, needs a second orange, so this needs to be orange. And now by border connectedness reasons, this can't be blue, because then we'd have two different segments of blue, so that's orange. These two are, of course, part of the same omino. This blue needs to connect to its friends, so it needs to grow at least that far, which now means this orange needs to grow at least this far, which means the blue needs to grow further. So if this orange is a 3, everything is good. These two are together, and actually these two are also together regardless because of even stuff. This is counting odds. Well, this number is certainly bigger than 2. This is at least 4. So this is something like 4, 6, or 8. I don't think it's a 10. I admit I didn't count it, but I don't think it's a 10. Right. This AFK points out I can stitch that down because it was currently stuck at 4 and needs to grow. Let's see. Random guest says row 4, column 5 tells us that that cell is blue. Very good. Thank you, random guest. So now that gives me the rest of the border. So that's very big. I do appreciate, by the way, that this puzzle is a yin-yang puzzle that does not immediately resolve the border. I know that that is orange because of 2x2 over there. And this is orange because of a 2x2 because of that. That's orange, that's orange, that's okay. I think. This now has to be a 4, right? This is an even counting odds, so it has to be a 4, and that's an orange. Yeah, I feel like the puzzle is basically going to completely collapse now that we know where the border is, which is interesting. There's only one blue omino over here. So now this 2 can't grow down, because if this 2 grows down, now this 1 is broken, because that's a different blue omino. So this 2 we now know does this, which interestingly means that blue has to grow over here, and we can stitch it. And so we can fill in that part. This is assuredly a 3 or a 5. Those are the only options. Which means it definitely joins that. This is orange because the orange needs to connect to its brethren. It's either the case that both of these are blue or both of those are blue, but I don't think I know which one yet. Yes. This, by the power of stitching, is just a 3. Thank you. We have succeeded at counting to 3. This can be a 4, or it can grow a bunch, basically. There's an old odd even Fillomino by Naverio that I really enjoyed that this reminds me of. Although that one I think was Japanese sums rather than yin yang. Yeah. Okay, so this one random guest is pointing out tells me that if these two are both blue, they're the same omino. But if that were the case, then that omino would cut off orange. So this can't be blue. So it's orange. And the same is true of this. If it were blue, it would be the same omino as that, but that would cut off this orange, so this is also orange. It has been revealed that this is now no longer 8. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at most, but it's not a 7 because it's an even number, so it's 4 or 6. Which is always nice. Yes, this always connects down. That is a great spot. Yeah, that is very tasty setting there. And so now if these don't connect, it breaks. That is great. That is beautiful setting right there. So if these two don't connect, then this is a 4, and this is bigger than 4, but it runs into the 4. So in fact, this is an 8, and it's finished. Love that. And so we know some about how the 4 grows now. Yeah, you do not get a lot of 8s in these sorts of things. Row 9, column 10. Unless it's a microstudy puzzle. Let's see. Okay, so this is quite limited, I'm being told. So if it's counting odds, then you can count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 odds currently. So it would be 4 or 5, but it would therefore only be 4. But this number's never 4 by Fillomino. Because the 4 omino here is going to finish somewhere that touches it. So this is not 4, and therefore it is orange. And as an orange cell, we can count the number of blues, which is currently 1, 2, 3. And so this is either going to be 3 or 4, but as noted, it's not 4 because it would touch a 4 omino, and also because 4 is even. So therefore it's a 3. Which now makes this odd because it would assuredly be another. I guess it's not quite true. This could be a Oh, no. This cannot be a gigantic even because that I know is a 1, 2, 3. So yeah, so this already sees its 3 blues and it can't see this one again. So therefore this is orange and hence not a 2. Okay. If this is a 3, we create a 2 by 2 of blue immediately. Because if this is a 3, all 3 of these are different blue ominoes, and 2 of them grow that way. So that's a 1. So this is blue by avoiding a 2 by 2, and now this is orange by avoiding a checkerboard. This is blue by avoiding a 2 by 2, and this is blue by avoiding a 2 by 2, and now this is orange by avoiding a 2 by 2, and this is orange by avoiding a checkerboard, and this is blue by connectedness. This is definitely a 3, because the 3 has to grow somewhere. This 4 cells is a sum of odd numbers. It can only be 1 plus 3, and we know this. We know the order of the 1 plus 3. Because of the fact that I can't have my sin touch my other sin cell. This now needs to be a 4 because otherwise we have made it impossible to do Fillomino things. So I can certainly stitch these 2 together. I can certainly stitch those 2 together. So I can also certainly stitch these 2 together. And so I can also stitch these 2 together for what it's worth. I can stitch these 2 together. I can just count this now, can't I? It's 1, 2, 3, right? This is now a 3. So those are 1 and 1. Let's see. Anyone want to count this cell while I have some tea? If it's even, it's a 2. And if it's odd, it's a 3. So yeah, so this is either 2 or 3. I agree. If this is even, it grows up. Oh yeah, this can't be a 2 for a somewhat cheeky reason, which is that if this is a 2, how does it grow? It grows up. But now that means that this is a 3-cell even omino, which does not work. So this is in fact a 3. Uh, which tells me that this omino is separate from this omino in order to get to my total of 3. So it's a 2. Oh, why not grow down? Oh, it could grow down. You're right. Sorry. You're right. It could grow down into the border. That is allowable. Damn. I was all proud of seeing that too. Oh, this is a 4. Yes, because it can't be a 6 anymore. And it being a 4 tells me that these two stitch together. And so that is also a 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is now needs to grow because this currently needs to be at least a 7 omino. If it does grow there, then it grows there for what it's worth. Okay. This 3 does it. Oh, not quite, actually. Sorry, I was over exuberant. But the 4, if this is a 4, that's not the 4 because of the 3 here. But the 4 could go this way. I think. Let's see. What arrow have I not counted yet? Row 10, column 4. Let's see. If this is even, it is 4 only. If this is odd, it's 3 or 5. 5 seems suspicious to me. No, 5's not actually possible. Yeah, because I would need, I would need to put 3 even ominoes in these two cells if it were a 5, which seems problematic. Uh, if this is orange, isn't this also orange? Okay, I do know that this is... Actually, do I know that this isn't a 1? I don't think I know that this isn't a 1. Uh, I do still need one of these to be orange because the two sides of orange are not connected. I agree with that. Uh, uh, is that true if this is just one giant blue omino? I don't think so. Uh, uh, Let's see. Row 9 and 10 of column 8 are 1 or 3 because bigger numbers can't escape. Yep, that's true. I agree. The world where this is 3 is kind of funny, actually. Yeah, this is also 1 or 3. I agree. That is true. I have some border I can fill in between orange and blue. If row 10, column 6 is orange, then it just goes 3, 1, 3, right? I think that's okay. I mean, it has to grow because it's part of a sea of 3 blue cells. Let's see, 57 Thorn says this being blue isn't possible. I don't quite see it. I do agree these can't both be blue because that would create a 2 by 2. I think they could both be orange and it would be fine, though. So if this is blue, now I've created an unallowable combination. So okay, I get Ron's point here. If this is blue, now this is orange, and it's certainly a 1 or a 3, but my combination of 1s and 3s does not work out well. Because it's definitely not, because it's 6 total cells, which can't be 2 3s, but it also can't be 3 1s and 2 3s. You just can't do 6 cells in this combination. So this is never blue. This is orange. So I certainly know at the very least this 3 doesn't grow and that 3 doesn't grow. So this 3 certainly grows there to finish, which makes that orange and a 3. And now that's orange to avoid a checkerboard. So now that's blue to fulfill our promises. This is currently at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this needs to grow because it's not currently odd. Okay, so if this is not part of the 3, then my 3 runs along like that. Which looks okay to me. This being a 3 does tell me that this is a 2-omino. Agree. I think the setter wanted me to see that a bit ago, but I did not ever see it. Okay, so now this blue... Oh, no, that doesn't tell me anything. I was thinking that was going to tell me that this needed to go out, but this can just connect to the border, as I forget every time. There's at least 4, but maybe it's like 4 going down that way. Let's see. I do know at least one of these is blue, I suppose. Yeah, I guess the orange universe, the universe where the 3 comes over this way, still looks okay. Oh, I see. If this wants to be 4, then this is a separate omino? Actually, what's wrong with this being 4? This would just be a separate omino, right? Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, the dang rascally ones. Okay, I do think I agree these two are always a different color, though, because if this is a 4, then I need an extra orange, and if this is a 3, then I need an extra blue. So I can always draw a line there. Uh, oh, I do have this too. Is this too interesting? Uh, this too is telling me this orange stops because if this orange continued, then by what we just said, that would break because we would need to have a second orange down here, and we couldn't because we said these two are different colors. So in fact, what that 2 says is that this really is a 7. Oh, now if this cell is orange, I think it's a 4. Oh no, it could be a 3 and a 1. Dagnammit. Just noticing if this is orange, it certainly has to grow that way, which now means that the oranges finish over here, but I think that would just make that a 3, which is probably fine. This being blue now breaks by the way that AFK was looking at earlier. Ron sees this. If this cell is blue, then immediately that cell is orange, which makes that cell blue, which then isolates orange. So this cell can't be blue. The cell's orange. Good spotting to Ron and good foresight from AFK earlier. That was going to be how this all worked out. So that's going to be blue. That's going to be orange. That's going to be orange. Okay, this blue. Oh no, I still can't quite say it. Okay, this is 3. I don't think that quite tells me anything. Yeah, I still need to connect orange. I just don't know which way I'm connecting orange yet. And I don't know that this isn't a 1 yet. Did the row 9 column 4. I didn't connect it left. I countered the possibility of a checkerboard, is what I did. I think this can be 1 because I think I could make 1 huge omino for all the rest of the blue without causing any problem. In fact, it has to be 1, right? All right, it has to be 1, VJ points out, because if it's more than 1, then, well, it can't be a 3, and it can't be bigger than that. So this, in fact, has to be a 1. This is the least shameful shame omino ever. Because that actually tells me that these basically are all the same shape. And so we now actually do get 1 real omino. As foretold, all this has to be 1 omino. This is also part of that same omino, however it works out. Now this has to be a 3, though, so let's finish the orange. And so now, well, now this 3 has to grow that way. And that way. So we can do that. So now this is a 1 by Fillomino. And now this is a 3 by Fillomino. And now this can't be anything but a 1. And now this blue needs to grow out through here. And so therefore, because of the 2, and therefore it joins this for a nice finale of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, of a 24 omino, which I appreciate because I can conveniently do that. And then I have 1 4 omino to finish, I think. Let me fill in this, and let me get rid of that dash, and fill in these 4s. Very nice finish there. There are a lot of really nice steps in there. There are little parts, or a few parts that I found a little fiddly, particularly the break-in. But I really liked the finish there, and a lot of that was very, very smooth, and I really like the ending there, which is very classy. We're learning about Pick's theorem. Pick's theorem is very cool. I do like 2-digit ominoes where the first digit is smaller than the second one. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with another puzzle shortly. So see you all in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. If experience is to be believed, this is probably going to be the last puzzle because this is a 5-star Mixo pencil puzzle, which I very much appreciate. Mixo included the pentaminous letters here at the bottom, which is very convenient. So let us attempt this puzzle. So we need to divide the grid, except for the outlined gray cells, into pentominoes, such that each cell is part of exactly one pentomino, and two pentominoes of the same shape cannot share an edge. Letters indicate the shape of the pentomino, which includes that cell, referred to the table below. We also need to shade some cells so that no two shaded cells share an edge. This is the Yaslin part, and draw a loop through the centers of all remaining white cells. Okay, good. So the gray cells, I think, are really just booted out of the puzzle entirely. The loop cannot visit any shaded cells or the outlined gray cells. Okay, good. The other day we did a cogito puzzle that was kind of like a U-Bahn, that was a U-Bahn that was kind of like this, except one of the rules went through the gray cells and the other didn't. Let's see if I can get you a link. Let's see there, question mark. This is, I think, I think this will be a little easier for brain for me to handle. Okay, so the interaction, each pentomino must contain exactly one shaded cell. Okay, excellent. So we can mark off that we know all of these are unshaded. It's going to be slightly tricky to decide exactly what I want to do as far as these things go. I will say I know these are unshaded because of the dead end thing. Like if I shade this cell, for example, then that cell needs to be visited by the loop, but then the loop dead ends. Likewise, these cells are unshaded. That's unshaded. Probably somewhere in here, like that is unshaded. That is unshaded. All of these would create dead ends immediately if they were shaded. Probably somewhere in here would create a branch, and someone will point that out. Yeah, like either of these being shaded would create a dead end there. So basically, I can actually start filling in a little bit of loop. Because this is a corner that I know is in fact unshaded. Okay, these are all unshaded. These are unshaded for similar reasons. Okay, so like one of these three has to be shaded or we cause issues, I think. Let's see. That is unshaded. That's unshaded. We might be approaching the end of our freebies. Oh, not quite, because like those are unshaded. We've got some loop going through there. These are unshaded, but so are these. And I missed those up here as well, the equivalent of that. Oh yeah, that's unshaded. 13 column 15. Oh yeah, this is just a loop corner. So these are also unshaded. Surprisingly or not surprisingly, as the case may be. I do have to pay a lot of attention to what I'm doing with the pentomino here, because obviously I can't make a V pentomino. It would have no shaded cells, which would be a problem. If this eye goes horizontally, oh no, sorry. The eye would have the shaded cell in it. Never mind. Okay. I feel like because of the X, I don't think the X can go up, because I think that will break the eye if it goes up, right? Because then this will be sort of stranded. And if the X goes left, I kind of feel like I can force the X. I think the X has to be this. Does anyone want to go out on a limb and say they agree with me that that's what the X has to do? because of the I up there. Because it's the kind of proof that I feel like is the sort of thing where I say it and then it turns out that it's not right, that there's something I didn't think of. Like with X's specifically, that seems to happen to me a lot. Let's see. Okay. Also, I could just say, maybe I can't quite, but let's go ahead and bound our X. Like that. Emma and I will share responsibility when it turns out it doesn't work. If I do make the by AFK, I think. I don't know what NTD stands for, but I'm guessing NTD means you're leaving, followed by based on the other later things in there. In which case, have a good day. The I going this way need to drop. I see. The I going this way would force these two cells exact. Oh, right. That doesn't work. Okay, that was the easier break-in than the X. It would have made that step much nicer. So if the I does go this way, we need to fit 3 shaded cells. It would make both of these shaded, but you can't do that because that's a dead end. So the I, of which there were only 2 ways it could go, has to go the other one. And then that would have made the X much easier to visualize if I'd done it in that order instead. God, I kind of want to mark. Yeah, so the point is, these are not an omino, because if those are an omino, that is an L. And that would touch an L, which I'm not allowed to do. So this, in fact, has to be a U. As so often happens with these sorts of puzzles, I'm frightened by the fact that I already have things in the grid. It worries me about what is to come. Let's see. There's only 1 in this column. There's 3. Okay. So I can repeat the trick with the 3 now, because now there is a 3, which means that 2 of these need to be shaded, and I know which 2. Namely, it's going to have to be those 2 that are shaded. And ergo, we know some more loop bits, which is that the loop is going to bounce through here. Like that. The loop also now has this as a corner, so these are both unshaded Aruskis. We do know about these being part of the same omino. Sadly, I can't really mark these are part of the same omino with my like gray markings without, I think, confusing the bejesus out of myself. Which I would prefer to avoid doing if I could avoid it. Okay, so I'm basically trying to see if I need to like do specific things with the shading in row 1 here in order to make this 3 work. Like if the L looked like this, I would definitely need to shade this, and then I would need to shade that. I really like this this idea for a rule set, by the way. This is very cool. Oh, this I is no longer horizontal. Is part of it. So the I can't go horizontally that way because it would touch another I, and it can't go horizontally this way because then there would only be 1 shaded cell and not 2. So I actually know that this I goes up quite a ways because it needs to go up at least 4 over here. And so that gives my L 2 options. Oh, the I can't go all the way up, because if the I goes all the way up, then I force the thing next to it to be an I again and not an L, which is no good. So that's the I. And the L can't go this way because it would touch another L. So the L does go this way. Okay, this is super fun so far. Now I need 3 shaded cells in here, which means they need to be 1 in each omino, which means there are no other shaded cells in those ominos other than the ones that are in this row. So that's one of them, and you can fill in a couple corners. Uh-oh. Emma says, wait, did I screw something up? There's another option for the L. Other than this one and this one? Oh, this one. Right. Uh, if the I goes up, the problem is that now this pentomino that contains this cell has to be an I, and it touches an I. That's why the I can't go up. It's because of the borders we already have with the X and the U. But yeah, you're right. There is an L that I was not properly visualizing, which is this L, which is unfortunate. Uh, uh, because it feels like this is the way that it wants to go for purposes of the puzzle. Um, yeah, we know one of the what Josh is saying is one of these two is shaded, and whichever one is shaded, this always connects this way. So we know that that cell is for sure not the bomb in its row. This cell can't be shaded because if it's shaded, it breaks every place to put a shaded in U. The U pentomino, not you personally. Let's see. If this is shaded, I guess that has to be shaded. See, there are 3 shadeds in column 2, which I've kind of not really paid attention to. In fact, actually, that cell just has to be shaded, right, by this 3 in column 2, because we can put a shaded there, and a shaded there. That's it. So this has got to be shaded, in fact. Because you can't put shadeds touching each other. So that's unshaded. And one of these two is shaded. So I usually will try to put like a little mini X here to indicate that you should do that. To say like one of these is shaded. Okay, so this cell is no longer shaded, because if this was shaded, that would be shaded and it would close the loop. And so now the 1 that exists in this row is part of the X. So therefore, none of the rest of this is shaded. And therefore, that is shaded. And we get to bounce around these a bit. Okay. That being shaded would be a problem, right? Because if this is shaded, these two to connect, and this is a dead end. So this can't be shaded. This is the T situation. Let me just show you this and make sure I'm right. I think if this cell is shaded, it forces these two to connect, and now this cell is a problem because it's a dead end. That is the thing that I have been conditioned to look for in Yaslin puzzles. So therefore, that's the one that's shaded out of those two, because we needed 2 of them to be shaded. Oops. So the rest of the X is unshaded. That's true. We can get a completed I dance. Ba-boop-a-doop. Woo! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wee! Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So now I know that one of these two is shaded, so I can put a little XC there. If it's that one, do I just destroy the 3 instantly? Because if I make it that one, then neither of those two is shaded. Yeah, I do destroy the 3. This can't be shaded. Because if this is shaded, I can't shade either of those two, so I have to shade both of these for the 3, and that doesn't work. So that's unshaded, and that's shaded. So we can continue this. That's unshaded. We can fill in that. I love this rule set. This is just great. Okay, and so now this is the last shaded cell. So we get to do that. Okay, this needs to continue. This is doing loop stuff. If this cell connects up and down, I close the loop, so it doesn't connect up and down. It connects that way. If this cell connects this way and this way, that closes the loop, so I can't do that either. So this cell always connects that way. This is now a corner, Ron points out. So we can go ahead and fill that in. We've got to somehow fit shaded cells in here somewhere, because we don't get a whole lot of cells. We don't get to go too far without shading cells. Or we run into issues. Okay, so am I basically going to need a shaded cell? Actually, I don't think this cell can be shaded. Oh, no, it can. It can. Okay, cell can be shaded. Oh, there's a 2 clue in column 5. That is a good clue to use. Thank you, from Matt Laffey there. All of those. And now as soon as that happens, I've created a corridor, as we like to call it. So those are unshaded, and so therefore that is shaded. Oh, by the way, this is unshaded. Okay, so either L still works, funnily enough. Because that L gets that shaded and that L gets that shaded. Oh, this 2 is now also done, because those two have to both be shaded. So therefore, those are unshaded. This is a corner. And so now this is a corner. Oops. No, that's not what I was trying to do, and you know it. This is a corner. 3 L options. I don't think there's 3 L options, are there? Yeah, this L option that looks like an option doesn't actually work. Sorry, this L option doesn't actually work because it touches another L. Is the reason, Ron, why thingy. Oh, this is now a corridor because it can only connect left and right. Like that. Oh, this is a corner, so it goes down. Oh, row 4, column 3 goes up. Sure does, which then draws this out over here. This needs to connect out, because if it doesn't, we close the loop again. And we don't want to do that, because that would be bad. Let's see, and I can presumably, like, X out the clues that we have completely exhausted, so that I stop looking at them. Okay. Row 7, column 5. Yes, row 7, column 5 is indeed Xable. I agree. Let's see, there's some sort of Y thing over here, some sort of P thing going on over here. This too I can also mark as done. Oh, I see, that's what Matt Laffey said as well. Okay, this too is almost under pressure, but it's not quite under pressure yet. I don't think I could shade this cell, actually. Shading this cell creates a T. That's been available for a long time. If I shade this cell, now this is forced to be a T. So that's not actually the shaded cell. It's this cell that's the shaded cell for the thing. That was available instantly, and I just didn't look for it at the time. Can only look at so many things at once, I suppose. So that's unshaded. Oh, yes, the 0 is also done. That's true. Okay, let's see. So David is saying if Yep, that's true. Okay. So David's point is this doesn't work. The cells I have highlighted can't be the L because now you have to start a pentomino here, and it can't take this shaded cell or that shaded cell because it already has one. And so then it isolates this shaded cell. So the L doesn't go that way. So great catch on everyone who identified that there was an L way that I was not considering. So this is the additional L way. So these two together are not part of this L because this cell has to join that cell because it can't join the L because this is definitely not an L. And so it definitely takes that cell, which means this L definitely doesn't take this. Okay, and so now, in fact, this definitely takes that shaded cell, and therefore it doesn't take this shaded cell. And so now this shaded cell is part of the L. So now this L is either going to go straight across like that or go over and down like that. The straight across version creates an L next to an L. Because now this thing ends up actually, it creates an L next to an L next to an L, is in fact what it actually does. Because it makes an LLL situation. We want to avoid the LLL situation. So we can come down here like this. Did I count to 5 correctly? I think so. You should not always assume that the zeta will count to 5 correctly. Okay, so this omino now can't take that cell because that will now create another L by force. So this now takes that cell. And it can't now take that cell or that'll isolate a domino. So this is in fact a V is what we ended up with. And now this is unshaded. Okay, now this needs that shaded cell. If it doesn't take that shaded cell, it's not getting one. So this is either an N or a Y. Yeah, I really appreciate the shapes at the bottom. It makes this so much nicer. So this is either an N or a Y. Do I know which one somehow? Or perhaps said differently, I don't know which one. Does one of you know which one? Let's see. Okay. Here's a slightly tricky one. This we can say has to connect right because if it doesn't, it does close the loop. If this doesn't connect right, then it does that. So this cell always connects right, which gives me an extra unshaded cell. Okay, and now this is not part of an I, which is kind of interesting, and it's not part of an L either. This is getting somewhat messy in terms of how the pentomino is going to work out. Let's see. If it's an N, does that... create weirdness. I think it breaks the F, but I hate thinking about F pentominoes more than just about anything in the universe. And I think they ought to be outlawed. Uh, so I don't 100% swear that that is the case. Uh, oh, well, here's another simpler thing. That definitely goes up. This assuredly can't go left and right, because if this goes left and right, then I force this, and now this cell is a corner. So if this can't go left and right, it means it always does that. This is the depths I'm willing to sink to in order to not think about where this F pentomino fits. Let's see. So it work out better if it's a Y. I really can't tell. I'll be honest about the Y versus N business. I know it's one of them. Now there's exactly one shaded in this column. It doesn't seem to be helpful at the moment that I'm aware of. Row 4, column 2. If this comes down and is an N, Ron says they don't believe that we can fit the F without without isolating something. So the FIC would be this one, and that is true. So there's probably some nice way to say that like this F definitely can't do this. Country Road AFK? Is it possible that this cell is unshaded? Does that cause some sort of a counting issue? I'm trying to think about like how we can sort of formalize that basically you can't do that F. So I was trying to sort of count pentominoes. So we've already got sort of 3 shadeds in here. That means they have to belong to at least 3 pentominoes or something. If this was also shaded, we'd need to fit sort of 4 pentominoes. Is it visibly obvious that's not possible? Uh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If I shade this cell, I need to get like 6 cells out in order to fit those 4 shaded cells in, which is possible, but somewhat alarming, I think, as a possibility. Okay, maybe like, am I supposed to think about, yeah, where's my multiple of 10 point? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like in terms of sort of where the border ends up down here, I have to be careful not to isolate a non multiple of 10 number of cells. So like in particular, that doesn't look good. Okay, I do know this F doesn't do that because that ends up touching another F. Let's see, like that F option doesn't work because it isolates a none multiple of 5 number of cells, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that F doesn't work because it isolates a none multiple of 5 number of cells. Am I just supposed to say this shaded cell can't possibly join the F? Oh no, the shaded cell can't possibly join the F. I think I believe that. This shaded cell doesn't join the F, so it has to join something. And the something it joins is blocked off both by this shaded cell and this F. So this shaded cell can't join the F. It has to fit entirely in these cells, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So only one of these 11 cells is not part of what is happening here. And it's got to be one of the border ones. So that is, I'm saying if I look at the total extent of the pentomino that contains this shaded cell and this shaded cell, they fit in these 11 cells. And I know that, okay, I'm going to make this insufferable to read for a second. Apologies. If I make this a Y, then I've got to fit these in here. And I assuredly can't make an F, but I could make a T. Or if I do something like this, then what I'm left with always contains 3 and that one. So it would have to be a P. If I make this an N, then the remaining thing has to be a P. If I make this a Y, then we know... Is it just always a P? Is there any way this cell gets involved? Because it's one of these two I exclude. If I exclude... Oh, no. Sorry. There is one way, which is that this is a T and this is a Y. Yeah, Y plus T gets me that. Because one of these two is the one that's missed. That one's certainly not the one that's missed. Yeah, there's a Y plus T combination there. The N plus P version, I am being told, breaks the F. Okay. So here is, I think, the crucial question, which makes us get there from Emma, which is, if row 8, column 3 is not part of the orange, if I kick it out, then it's part of the F. But how does that work? And the answer is it doesn't, because if I try and make this part of the F, I can't use the other orange cell. So this is not part... Oops. Trying to add additional colors. This is not, in fact, part of the orange. And so the orange, in fact, only contains the Y plus the T version. Sorry, it is orange. It is orange. This is the cell that isn't orange. This cell is orange, right? And so we get the Y plus T world. Okay. I don't think that was case checky, but it required a lot of thinking to make work. But I think it was fairly elegant by the end of it. And so this cell is blue. is the upshot of all of that. And so now this can't be the spine of my F. So I think this is going to have to be the F, but again, I'm always terrified of Fs. Like maybe that could be the... Oh, no, that can't be the F because that F touches an F. So I'm at least prepared to say that. Emma now sees two options for the F. Excellent. Yeah, this F doesn't work because it touches that F. So yeah. So do we think this is the only F that works? Because yeah, I certainly can't do like the spine of the F, by which I just mean like that part of the F. It certainly can't be... Sorry, it can be this. It can't be that. And it can't be that. And we just argued it can't be that either because of that F. So I think the spine has to be this, and then once the spine is that, then I think we know what it is. Okay, so I again will vote to kick F out of the club. But anyway, one of these two is shaded, so this definitely isn't. This F I now know doesn't go there, so I can draw a boundary there. Which might, in fact... Actually, now I don't even see an option for this F that doesn't isolate that cell. How on earth... Is there any way that this F works? I feel like now there's not any way that F works, which is bad. Oh, no, it could be this. It's going to have to be that, is what it's going to have to be. I think, is what's going to happen. Because if these two are both part of the... or that. That would also work, right? I think all the pentaminous puzzles I've released have been no F pentaminous puzzles. Okay, so now this is going somewhere. I think there's now no way this cell is shaded. Because if this cell is shaded, then this comes out like this, and then becomes that. This now becomes an I. Actually, I guess that'd be an I, a V. Maybe that's okay, actually. Never mind. I retract my claim that I didn't think it was possible. An all F puzzle titled F It. I like it. I actually kind of like the idea of an all F puzzle. That sounds fun. Okay, I think I decided this cell can't be part of that F, right? Oh, no, it can. It can, if I do it that way. Never mind. There is a way. And the other way is that, I believe. It's also possible that I'm allowed to think about the other part of the grid. Although I'd kind of rather not, if I'm honest. If I shade this cell, do I run into a sticky situation with that? I don't think so. I think regardless of which of these I shade, it's okay. Okay, is there any sort of loop shenanigans happening around here that I should be privy to? I certainly can't make this go straight up and down for two cells. Oh, I can see one thing. This cell can't connect that way because it would remove all the spots. So it does connect that way, which actually creates a corner. Okay, that is useful. Now this can't connect those two ways because that would create a mini loop. So it definitely connects that way. And now this needs to connect down, and now this needs to connect down. And now this is now a corner. And so I think all of that was good. So now we get to bounce this around like that. This now comes out for sure. Okay, this needs to be part of something that isn't that. But I think it could be something like an N. I think I might even... I guess I technically can't get away with that exact combination, but I think I could do like an N and a Y or something. There's still a shaded cell in this column, because my 1 is not yet satisfied somehow. Oh, this has connected over here, by the way. I just didn't continue that. This is assuredly not shaded. Now this cell is not shaded because if it was, it would create a dead end. So we can fill in that. This is a corner, right? Very good. So we get that kind of action. And now we can create our little green X between these two because one of these two is shaded. Okay, so this cell's unshaded because if it was shaded, then that would be shaded and that would create a dead end. So that's a forbidden pattern. So this is unshaded. We might need to think about the C. But what if I don't want to think about the C? It is true. Yeah, the corner does need a shaded cell. And it's going to be hard for it to not be that one. I guess it could technically be this one. Maybe, possibly, although that seems unlikely to be a healthy combination. Okay. So this connection, funnily enough, is always made because if this is the shaded cell, it's made, and if this is the shaded cell, it's made. So we can actually fill in that that connection's definitely a part of the oeuvre. Yeah, we can't connect it both ways. Oh, in fact, I just create a T if I make this shaded, don't I? No, I don't. I don't. But I do make a T if this is shaded. That can't be shaded because of the making a T thing. I would have been much faster at this puzzle if I had fully internalized the like what makes a T rule. Okay, so that goes that way, that goes that way. So these two are both unshaded. The 1 is now done. I should not make these into a mini loop. That would be bad. So we should bring those out. I should still not make these into a mini loop. Believe it or not, I should still not make these into a mini loop. So we get all of that. Okay, and so now the corner, Ron, I believe, is correct. If I look at all the cells which are in within 5 of the corner, that's this collection of cells. That is our circle of radius 5 centered at this corner. It only contains that. So these two are in the same omino. So therefore, all of these are in the same omino. And that can't be in that omino because if it was, I'd isolate 4 cells, and 4 is the wrong number of cells to isolate. So I can note that. Okay, P and U looks tempting. Yeah, if this is a Y, it makes an F touching an F. That's amazing. Mixo, you crazy genius. Yeah, the if this is a Y, it makes this an F touching an F, which is insane. So this is not that. Okay, so now these 5 cells are isolated. Basically, if I connect these two, it's now impossible to make this into a pentomino. So, in fact, that gets us a P. So now this is either a V or a U. The V might mess up the Z, actually. Okay, so now this cell needs a black cell within 5 of it, and it doesn't have a lot of options either. In fact, this cell's black cell can only be that one, I think. Do we agree with that? I think that's true. I think I have counted my sort of circle of radius 5 around this. And so if those two join forces, they could readily be the Z. But I feel like there's lots of options here as to what this could look like, unfortunately. But if it's not the Z, I guess if these aren't part of the Z, then the Z needs to look exactly like that, I think, in order to possibly get a shaded cell. I feel like it's possible I am making this more complicated than it needs to be. As Tristan is often fond of accusing me of doing. Yeah, so all of these go together, and it's just a question of, can those go together? I don't think this works. I think now this cell... Oh, I guess that creates a W. Yeah, that creates a W. This is the VWZ formation that people are speaking of. Oh, do I know what this F is yet? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think this has given me any insight into this F, unfortunately. Although that shape of F would, I think, force this cell to be shaded. I think my F options are this and this. Can this be part of the Z? Because that, I think, strands, like, that doesn't work, because that strands some cells. So that can't be part of the Z. That's the only way that it would be part of the Z, is if the Z looked like that or like that, neither of which work. So I think the Z actually needs that to be its shaded cell. And then I think there's only one way it works. I think the Z shaded has to be here. And now I think if you look at what the Z shaded looks like, I think it has to look like this, because I think the other thing it could look like is that, and that doesn't work. So I think the Z just has to be this. Do we agree with that conclusion, or am I missing a way of orienting the Z? See, Matt Laffey agrees. Okay, so we've got some omino poking out here in some shape. These are now definitely all part of the same omino. And that omino had better take... Oh, I guess I can either do... U makes another P, but the P doesn't touch the P, right? Yeah, there's a VW and there's a UP. And we just have to somehow smuggle out the shaded piece over up here. Yeah, then this becomes part of something. Yeah, I don't quite see what I can do with this start of an omino, but it's tempting to think about. I still don't think I can do anything with the Fs. Yeah, so this is a total of 10 cells. And I know that both the shaded cells are in it. So if I try not to use this cell, then I'd have to use that cell instead, and that immediately isolates something. So yeah, we could do a counting the cells argument to argue that we always get a border there. I think regardless of what else happens. And now I think this is either going to create a shaded cell there or a shaded cell there, or I guess it could create a shaded cell here. Which is, I guess, a lot of options. Oh, right. The path does path things, like continuing through there, which seems useful because now this is a corner. Thank you for reminding me that the other half of this puzzle exists. This, in fact, actually comes over here, making that unshaded as well. Okay, and so now I think this just has to have that as its shaded cell. I don't think there's anything else that it can do, right? There aren't other things within 5. So I think this now forces that to be part of a W pentomino. Okay, so that comes over. Now this is a corner. Right, and now I can't make this a W anymore, which means these two have to connect, and as soon as these two connect, then we're forced to be a P and a U. I'm trying to remember what my two Fs looked like. One of them looked like that, and one of them looks like that. Well, it's not that F anymore because that F doesn't have any shadeds. So it's now the F that includes these two cells and those. So let's draw in that F like that, I believe. If this is shaded, it breaks. Because if this is shaded, I connect these two, and now this is a dead end. So this is unshaded, and that's shaded, I believe. It is insane to me, the setting in this puzzle. This is a corridor. This is a corner. This is a corridor. This is a corner. So we can unshade a bunch of stuff like that. Okay, this we know shoots out because otherwise we create a mini loop, which is very relevant because it is forcing slowly this to look like something or other. This T is getting kind of interesting too. Yes, it was exactly all the cells of the F option and not one more thing. Yes, agree. Okay, this needs a shaded cell. This needs a shaded cell, whatever it's doing. I guess the shaded cell that concludes... Oh, no, this can't be a T, right? This can't have that as its shaded cell. I guess it could just barely have that as its shaded cell, but I don't think this can get a shaded cell that's anywhere but one of these two places. Do we agree on that, or am I missing an option? As far as where the shaded cell that this gets could be. I don't think I'm missing an option. I think it really is just those two. I actually think that one where this is an I think that breaks the T. So I think it does. So I think it can't even actually get it there, because now the T is just undoable. Because that would be forced to be part of the T, and that doesn't work. So I think it actually has to be there specifically. And so this has to be a Y, because if I leave this cell to be part of the T is dead, right? Yeah, if I leave this to be part of the T, there's no T I can make. So I think this has to be a Y. Okay, so now my T has to not isolate things, so I can't do that T. So I now have to T this way, I think. Oops. Okay, and so now this 2 clue tells me one of these two is shaded and one of these two is shaded. And so in particular, that tells me that this cell is unshaded. Let's see, this is now getting tight as well. I guess L is probably... Oh no, L doesn't work. I can't make this an L. If I make this an L, then I force the thing above it to be an L. So I think it has to be a U. Because if this L is in place, now this thing goes here and it can only be an L. So I think this just has to be a U, I believe. And so therefore that cell is shaded, which gets me a corner here. Oh, was there an option for an F? The option for the F doesn't have room for a shaded cell. Oh, I did this the wrong color of shaded. So therefore that is shaded. That is therefore unshaded. That gets me a passageway like that. This is a corner. Very true. So that gets me my other shaded cell. Thank you. Completing the 2. If this connects left to right, I strand this. Oh, this is just a corner, is what I'm saying in a really convoluted way. If this now connects down, that closes the loop, because if this connects down, then that connects over there. So this doesn't connect down, it connects up. So now this connects down and out. I'm pretty sure it was Emma or Selena who got me to start looking for that. I think it was Emma who got me to start looking for that. Oh, this would close the loop in this kind of funny way, sort of deduction. Let's see. There's only 2 clues left. Oh no. I guess we've got some more letter clues at least. 11, column 9 needs to go left. Right. This 4x4, or sorry, this 4 cells. Hey, Mixo, I am loving this so far. This might be my favorite puzzle you've ever set so far. This 2x2 needs to be pierced by an even number of loop ends, and it is not pierced by an even number of loop ends presently. So I must do the only thing I can, which is to create the additional piercing. Okay, so now this needs to be shaded, because if this is not shaded, now it's a dead end. So we get a shaded cell and a corner. Oh, this is now also shaded, because if it's not, it's a dead end. And so now this is a corner. Like that. Okay, this continues through the gap. Someone can count and tell me whether there's a loop through this gap or not. I can't shade this cell without creating a T. And I can't shade this cell without also creating a T. I don't know if that extends all the way over to here, though. It might not extend over to there. I'm not sure. I feel like I probably should be able to make the same argument, but I'm not sure. See, I probably should think more about the omino that contains these 3 cells. But I'm not sure what to say about it. Like, it definitely doesn't contain this cell. This cell is going to be tricky because this cell can't take that cell. This cell could conceivably take that cell, I think. I don't think there's anything wrong with this I, or it has to come over here. Oh, no. Neither of these can be shaded. If either of these is shaded, it does create a T issue, I think. I'm just going to check that real quick and make sure that my intuition is correct. So if this is shaded, we end up with this problem is what happens, is that I end up stranding sort of the wrong number of loop ends. So maybe it's not the T thing, but it still can't be shaded, because if it's shaded, I create one exit for 2 loop ends. And the same goes for there. So both of these are unshaded. I can do that. Okay, and the same actually if this is shaded, actually, then both the loop ends have to go out through there, and that's not good either. Because I've got these 2 loop ends that I have to sort of keep. I either have to trap them both in or make them both go out of this lower piece here at the bottom. Yeah, Chef of Death basically was telling me the correct way to say this, I think. So now Matt Laffey has it. Now this cell, we've now blued everything that this cell can get to except this, which is very convenient because it forces a V. Not that kind of V, Sven. There we go. Okay, so now this cell now can only get that shaded cell, because the only other place it could get a shaded cell is there, but that would create an I through an N. So I think now we actually have an I here. Now I have to creatively figure out how to draw an N in. Oh, it could be an L. It could be an L, right? But I do need to bar off those. Right, could be an L. This is going to have to be a Z, is what it's going to have to be. If I look at this cell and ask what it can get to, this can't be part of an N in any universe where it also has a shaded cell. So I think this is forced to be Z and N. Let me know if you see another option, but I think that is it. So that cell is the shaded one for the Z, at the very least. So that cell is unshaded. This continues through here, which I probably was already true. Okay, and so now I can't shade this cell, because now if I shade this cell, now if a P worked, I did not see how I was going to get a shaded cell for the P, was the problem, David, but we can look at it real quick. The problem is that I needed to get quite far away from this cell in order to get it into a shaded cell, and I don't think I could even get a P a shaded cell. Okay, but now this lower area has an odd number of loop ends in it, so I need to get one out, basically. And the only option for doing that is here, so we can draw in that. Okay, this L... How on earth is this L ever working? This L is working like... No, that doesn't work. Have I screwed up? Am I crazy? I don't think this... Is there an option for this L? Oh, it's this. It's that. That's the option for the L. I see. Yeah, this one is fine. Yeah, I was I think, in fact, this is forced, but I'm now hesitant to attempt to use it based on the fact that I screwed it up so badly. But let's just try and say, like, the short part definitely can't be horizontal for the L, because every combination that does it is bad. So the L has a long horizontal piece and a short vertical piece. And so the long horizontal piece definitely includes these three. If it also includes that one, then we've isolated stuff down here. So that's the long horizontal piece. And then it's just a question of, do I go down or do I go up? And the problem with going up is it creates an L touching an L. So I have to go down, and therefore we're done. Okay. There is my pentomino words. There is the I that I promised earlier. See, I told you. Let's see. Now this could never have been shaded. This should have been blue literally from the beginning of the puzzle. Because of the fact that it would create a dead end there. Yeah, this is now forced to be a Y. There's just no question about it being a Y. Because it just has nothing else that it can do with its life, unfortunately. You hate to see shapes losing all their options this early in life, but sometimes it happens. Okay, I don't think I yet know what is happening with regards to those. Okay, well, this cell also couldn't have been shaded from the beginning of the puzzle. Oh, that is what Ron is pointing out, is that, yeah, that cell was assuredly never going to be shaded. This cell being shaded creates... Oh, no, it doesn't. No, either of these can be shaded, and we just don't cross this threshold. I think what I'm actually kind of seeing is that this L can't go over. This piece of loop I don't think can possibly connect right. Because if this piece of loop connects right, now I have to deal with... it, of course, has to go up then, because it can't go down. But if it goes up, now I've got to deal with this, and I've got the wrong parity of stuff to do that. So I think this has to go up, although I don't necessarily want to use it because I don't want to rigorously argue what I just argued, but I think it's right. I should drink my tea. Now, what I think I'm very confident of is that these two don't connect here, because if these two connect here, now I'm forcing a loop here, which is going to become extinct rather rapidly, because it forces two ends of the loop to get out through what I know is a one cell gap, right? Regardless of which of these is shaded, there's a one cell gap that nothing escapes. So we can extend these at least that far. Okay, I think this was just a nicer way that Emma is giving me than what I was trying to do previously. So if I shade this, they meet here. If I shade this, then they meet here. Okay. How are we possibly going to resolve... Oh, we're going to resolve that with this 2 clue. This 2 clue is to resolve that deadly pattern at the end of the puzzle. Yeah, so if this goes right, yeah, now we have the same kind of issue. I guess maybe the easiest thing is to see is if this is not shaded, then the loop does this, and now I've got a huge problem, because now, well, that can be shaded, but now I've got to get all my loop into this corner, and I can't because I'm trying to get it through a cubby hole. So in fact, that just has to be shaded, which means that's unshaded. I think that was the most elegant way to articulate that. Okay, and now if these connect, we again force the same thing. That's no good. So these come down. And now we have a version for both. It's going to have to be resolved by this 2 clue, I think. So, oh, in fact, it's resolved by the 2 clue right now, because I can't shade both of those because that would create a dead end. So in fact, that is just going to resolve ourselves immediately. So that's shaded, that's unshaded, and now we get to handle all of that. Okay, and we know that one of these is shaded. Okay, we are closing in on this. Yes. Okay, so now that that's all closed up, we can now sort of handle this because, in fact, we could have handled it anyway because we knew what was going to happen, is what Jim was saying. We knew these were going to connect over here somewhere. It didn't really matter where. We were going to create a mini loop if we connected those, so we got to connect those instead. And now if you follow this whole shebang, this would now be a mini loop. It would be a very big mini loop, but it would still be a mini loop. So we have to actually continue these, and then we have to continue these, I believe. Which is quite dangerous, I suspect. Because now this piece is going to need to be a Z getting a shaded cell there. Let me know if I misscanned that, but I think I said everything there right. Okay, so there is a Z. Okay, and now this piece needs a shaded cell, and it can only get that one. So this is now an L, which is, I pray, not crossing another L. Or not touching another L. I think we're good. I don't think it is. And for my next trick, yeah, this is a very lovelily put together puzzle. Oh yeah, this needs to keep going right, because again, it can't go up, or we still create the same mega mini loop. Okay. Should I contemplate the nature and purpose of this Y? What about this T? If I were a T, which way would I be? I wouldn't be that way, that's for sure. I feel like I'm descending into a Dr. Seuss book now. Let's see. Yeah, that... I don't think this can be the spine of the T this way. It could just be the spine of the T that way, actually. That can't be the spine of the T, and that can't be, actually. So, I can't do that. I could just do that, I think. Okay, I think there were 2 options for the T in there, but it's possible I said the same option twice. The W forced to look like... Why are both of these not possible? I agree that's not part of the W, so this is some other thing. I have a 3 clue here. Did anyone know we have a 3 clue here? I didn't know we have a 3 clue here, but it seems very relevant. Uh, just, because it immediately gets you like 75 things. There we go. Damn invisible clues, indeed. We even tried to mark them, and we did not successfully use the fact that we marked them to save us from messing up this whole thing. Okay, so now this is shaded because it can't be anything else. See, now this is shaded because it can't be anything else. I'm sure you were very happy when you found the 3 clue. Oh yeah, the 2 clue is now done as well. Okay, this is now a corner, so I should use it. This is now a corner, so I should use it. Row 8, column 11 is a corner. Yep, true that. Okay, so now this is unshaded. We did not ever count the total number of gray cells in the puzzle. Yep, if this is shaded, we create a mini loop here, because that... Actually, wait. Is that true? Couldn't it go that way? I think it would still be okay. I agree we can't make this a mini loop, but I think it is okay if that is shaded. Wait, they would both be shaded? They can't both be shaded. I will certainly say that. I briefly was trying to avoid a 2x2 here, but I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I was trying to decide if I could use parity, and I think I can, to decide whether this goes up or down. Because if I look at the row between 7 and 8, we've got 1 crossing, 2 crossings, 3 crossings, 4 crossings, 5 crossings, 6 crossings. So we can't have a 7th crossing here. Will someone verify that I counted that correctly? I think that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6. That's the only one that's ambiguous. So we get that. Okay, and now we can use the mini loop argument. So can do that, and so now this is shaded, and so now we can do that. Da 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 da. Okay, now, yeah, this is a mini loop. Okay, so here, okay, this is just a corner. I don't even have to think about anything besides it being a corner. Let's see. This cell has to be part of the T or the W, right? If this is not part of the T or the W, oh no, it could be the Y. It could be a Y, I think. Oh, this is a corner. I can just turn this up. see. I can't connect these two. I can't connect these two, so therefore this is blue is the point. Because if I connect these two are really both ends of a potential loop, right? Yeah, these two are both ends of a potential loop. So if I shade that, I just force that. So this is never shaded, at the very least. Let's see. Yeah, the W can't take that shaded cell. And the W can't take that shaded cell. So the W has to take that shaded cell. And so it's either going to be this or the companion to that. So the question is, why does this one break, I think? I don't know. Maybe that one doesn't break. Maybe this one breaks? I don't think that one breaks either. Uh, uh, in any event, we can say those are all part of the W. And so I think that either way, we get those borders. Okay. And so now Josh says, look at this cell. It has to take that shaded cell because it can't take that through the T. So that does get us a Y just by force. So that, I think, is the point, is that we actually can say that has to be a Y. And so now... Oops. Oh, that W still doesn't quite break. But my T now can't do this. So my T now has to do that because this is now forced to be part of the T. So we can just draw in the T. And so now that the T is forced, now the W that I thought was going to be the wrong W is actually the right W. I did not draw that in correctly, though. We're going to try that. We're going to take that one more time. Oh, there we go. I tried to do it wrong again. So now we get that W. Okay, this now... Oh, maybe this can still be a W, actually. The U certainly isn't that U. Okay, what about down here? I guess we... Oh, No, I can do an L. I can certainly get rid of these. Let's see. Oh, you're saying if I shade this, it closes the mini loop. That is a good point from Ron. If I shade this cell, then I just close this loop immediately. So I can't do that. So this is not the shaded cell. And now that tells me that this is definitely taking that cell. Whether it takes it as a Z or a W, I'm not quite sure, but I can mark that all of these work out. And so, in fact, that's shaded. And I can mark my loop stuff. Oh, it touches a Z. I am being told it touches a Z. I admit it is very hard to see the pentominoes in here. I probably should have agreed that black was the shaded, and then I should have colored the pentominoes in colors as I finished them. It probably would have made life easier. Okay, so yeah, so this touches that Z, so it's not a Z, so this is a W. Like that. this now is either a U or it isn't. If that cell is shaded, I suspect that breaks the U. Yeah, if this cell is shaded... Oh, no, it could. The U could do that. Sorry. The U could do that. In fact, maybe this cell has to be shaded. Unknown. Okay. Assuredly... Oh, no, sorry. I was going to say something wrong. I don't know. I feel like if this isn't shaded, I don't have enough shaded cells at the top, but I don't know how to argue that in a way that isn't horrible. See, I think this is definitely taking that shaded cell if it's not part of the U. If it is part of the U, it could get a shaded cell there. I think one of these two is always shaded, though, so I think that's probably unshaded, although I don't swear that that's true. I guess we could do math on this Y, because the Y has a 4-length piece, which is, I think, either going vertically there or horizontally there. Would vertically there be a problem? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so it would have to go vertically there and take one of these two cells. Horizontally... horizontally doesn't work. Horizontally, if I put the thingy up here, I strand fewer than 5 cells, and if I put the thingy down here, I strand fewer than 5 cells. And I don't think there's anywhere else. Like, this can't be the nub sticking... Oh, this could be the nub sticking out. Sorry, actually. This could be the nub sticking out if I did something like that. Sorry, I was missing that possibility for my Y. Yeah, the clue could be the stick. I convinced myself the clue couldn't be the stick vertically, and I forgot to check if the clue could be the stick horizontally. Does anyone want to count how many shaded cells we have left? There's a chance that that would be useful information to know. Because we don't have a whole lot of cells left in which we could shade stuff. This needs a shaded cell, and Ron points out it can't be this one because that would make it an L, and that would touch an L. So this needs a shaded cell somewhere. And this also touches an I, so it can't be there. So the only place it can get a shaded cell is there. Okay, and so that is going to force all of that. Which then forces this through here. These can't close, so that's going to keep going. At least one more. Okay, so we have 5 more shaded cells, I think, because I think I just shaded one more since gave me the count. See, we assuredly can't shade both of those for whatever it's worth. Okay, well, now the Y definitely can't go horizontally this way. Oh, I think that was already what I proved before, actually. It's either going to go something like that, or something like that, or something like that. this cell, its shaded cell must be this one. So these two, I think, are in an omino together. And if that omino doesn't include this cell, then this is going to have to be a U because of the fact that it can't be an L. But I think that's okay. Actually, it breaks, but in a somewhat convoluted way. Yeah, it breaks this cell, but in a way that's a little bit messy. Because this cell now can't be a Y because it touches a Y, can't be an I because it touches an I, and can't be an L because it touches an L. So basically what we're saying is this has to take, orange has to take this cell, because if it doesn't, it forces this to be a U, and now this shape, which has to take these three cells, now if it takes this cell, it's an L, a Y, or an I, so it doesn't, so it takes that cell, but now it can't take this cell, or it isolates that cell, and it can't take the Y. So it's a little bit of a complicated look ahead, but we're also like down to this few cells, so like it's look aheads are a little more fair when there's only one tiny bit of the grid to look at. So anyway, all of that is to say that orange takes that cell for sure. Let's see. If orange takes this cell, it's definitely a P, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it being a P. Okay, so like this one, if I make this an X, Ron is suggesting, I know it definitely takes that cell because I know it's not the other one. I do need to make sure that I don't make this sort of extend this way. It can't extend that far. Is it that cell that can't be XC? It might be that that cell can't be an X, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think we've ruled anything out. Let's see. So Yujwon says if I do that with the Y, now the U is broken. Both because it doesn't have a shaded cell and because it isolates a cell. Agree. I think we said this breaks, right? Or maybe not. 5. Oh, sorry. I think it's this that doesn't break. Yeah, it's this that doesn't break, at least in principle. Yeah, this way strands 10 cells. The question is, can I resolve those 10 cells in a way that doesn't create any issues? Yeah, so it'd have to point left. And I'd have to make this not a P and a P. UP works, right? This would be a U and a P. is one possibility at least. So that still seems possible. Let's see, we could start turning this into a Shakona puzzle and just start highlighting regions and saying what the maximum number of shaded cells there is that could be in them. Because we still need 5 shaded cells, if I recall, right? These can't both be shaded, for example. So that's a max of 1. No 2 of these can be shaded, so that's a max of 2 for those. So we need 3 shaded cells in the remaining piece. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, if I want to do it this way, I'm going to have to be more clever. Let's see, this is not touching a Y or anything. Can I do anything pentamenologically with what's down here? I haven't really thought about this. Like, this is definitely getting its shaded cell there, so that means, like, these are all together. If this also takes that one, then this is definitely an L. It can't also take that one, actually. Sorry, it could also take this one, but not if it also took that one. Yeah, blue circle's not a Y. Yeah, I also was thinking L or P. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, I don't think. Uh, uh, is all of this at most 2? Or can I get 3 in there if I'm clever about it? I think I can get 3 in there if I'm clever about it, unfortunately. Uh, see, I assuredly can't shade both of those or both of these. Is any 2 of these 3 bad? The horizontal 2 might be okay. Uh, I'm trying to see if that makes a T somehow. That would be untoward. It does create a problem. It strands two loop ends down here. Yeah, the horizontal one does create a T, so I can't do that either. So it is at most one of these four. So at most one of these four means at least four of the remaining cells, right? Uh, and so if I have to get four in the remaining cells, that's going to be quite an ask, right? So let me somehow highlight these. Uh, we'll do it in red. At most, one of these red circle cells is a bomb. And so we need to fit four bombs in these remaining cells. We could do one of these. We could do one of these. Actually, maybe that's not the way to do it. We could do one of these. We could do one of these. And therefore, I have to do one of these and I have to do that one, right? If I can't do that one, then I just am SOL, right? Because at most one plus at most one plus at most one means this is always shaded, right? Did I do this math correctly? I think I did this math correctly. Okay, and so now now we have at most one, at most one. Now we need four, remember. We have at most one, at most one, at most one. Now this one has to be shaded. So those aren't shaded. Now we need three. At most one. At most one. And therefore that one. Now we need two. Notably, that has put a number of corners up here. Okay, so now it's one of these and one of these. For what it's worth, I'm glad it was this instead of the case checking pentominoes for eternity that I was a little bit afraid that we were going to be stuck doing. Okay, so yeah, I know it's one of these. Do I care which one presently? I don't think I care which one presently. Are there any of these that I can rule out? I think I know that this one doesn't go horizontally, right? If the loop goes horizontally through this cell, then that cell is shaded and I've created. Oh, maybe that's not a mini loop, actually. I don't think that's a mini loop. Yeah, I think these are in fact always going to end up joining in some way or another. And then these are always going to end up joining in some way or another. Right. Okay. So here's the way to do it. This rectangle has two loop ends currently entering it, and so therefore it can't get an additional loop end entering it over here because that would be 3 and that's the last unresolved edge. Basically, anytime in a loop puzzle you can draw a contiguous region of any shape, if there's one unresolved edge, it's resolved by parity because every contiguous shape is pierced an even number of times. And so in this case, I could just draw that shape and say, it's pierced twice. There's one unresolved edge, so therefore that. And so that makes this a corner, which forces that, which then forces that. Okay. Now, what good that did, who knows? But it technically filled in some of the puzzle that we need to fill in before we can call the puzzle done. Is there a world where this is not the shaded cell for the U? Like, this can't be the shaded cell for the U. Oh, maybe it could actually. Sorry, maybe it could. No, it. Oh, maybe it could. Maybe that's okay. Yeah, so this is just going to bounce into there regardless of how things connect. Oh yeah, the upright U does create an I without a shaded cell. You're right. Yeah, the U can't do this because of this cell needing a shaded cell. So I guess the smart thing to say is the shaded cell that the U gets is definitely the red shaded cell. Right? There's no other shaded cells that the U could get. And the shaded cell that this cell gets is also definitely the red shaded cell. And ergo, this is part of the U. And ergo, the U looks like this. I think that is the right way to say those words. Woohoo! I thought about it the way that Mixo did. Okay, so now this cell is shaded, and these are both unshaded. And so that has assuredly created another corner or two, or three, as the case may be. Okay, so there's the U. Now... now the Y is forced. Oh, right. The Y can't take the cell with the orange. So the Y now can no longer be vertical, so now it's horizontal, and the only horizontal Y that works is this one. Got it. Okay, so that makes that the shaded cell. So we're done with our shading and our loop, and now we just have to finish our pentominoes. So this omino now is forced to be an L. Now, well, that's certainly not part of the P. Okay, we must now know how this resolves. So Z and V seems possible. If this is an X, then that's also an X. And this can't be a U, so it would be a P, but that would make it a P with a P. So this can't be an X this can't be an X is the point. If this was an X, then I would be forced to either have a U or a P, and both are bad. So therefore that's an O. And therefore that's an O, and that resolves the division of this piece of the puzzle. And we can get rid of that coloring. Okay. Now, assuredly these go together. Let's see, is there a problem if this is an N? It's like this is definitely taking, if I want to continue this definitely takes this cell, and if it takes this cell, that's fine, but it can't take that cell. So therefore, it needs at least 2 cells over here. Now, the P, on the other hand, if you look at it, the P definitely, that could be part of the P, but these are definitely part of the P. And then one of these is part of the P, say. Okay, so now there's 2 more pentominoes that we haven't thought about yet. There's that one and that one. And I don't think I know anything about their shapes. And blue, yeah. Blue we have thought about, though, by virtue of the fact that it is blue. So the P can never take anything below this line. So this is part of some mysterious omino that's not part of the P. And so it definitely takes this one. And it's definitely going to take this shaded cell, because if it doesn't take that shaded cell, it strands this shaded cell with fewer than 5 cells. So that's definitely part of blue. Of the blue X, I mean. And now, if this isn't part of the blue X, well, then my P pentomino has, well, I guess like one way to say it is then my blue is a P pentomino touching a P pentomino. So that's definitely part of the X. So now, whatever this is, if I look at it, it's the last one. Wait, why what? The blue X. What about the blue X? Was there a claim row 6 column 14? If row 6 column 14 is not part of the blue X, then my blue X, oh, maybe that was wrong. Maybe that could be the blue. Maybe the blue could be an N with a P and an F. It could be. You're right. Sorry, there was a possibility. That doesn't break anything, I don't think. Oh, that strands too few cells. Okay, sorry. I was thinking, this will be an F and a P, but the F and the P overlap. Okay, yeah. So, so if this doesn't take this cell, then it of course takes that cell, and now it takes that cell, and now I've isolated things. So, so it does have to take that cell. Good catch. Good catch. Okay, we can still put red back. Okay, yeah. Now this is not blue because of the P touching P controversy. And this isn't blue because of it would be a U touching a U. And so now the P is done. Okay, and so now that the P is done, now the orange is done because that cell needs to be something. And now if I make this an X, I strand a cell. So I have to make that the blue X, and now that's done. Okay, now that's definitely a red circle. Wait, what? Oh, blue X could be a T. It can't take that cell, though. This cell is definitely red O. Right. One of these is the last blue X. If this isn't red circle... Oh, maybe that's okay. Oh, no, that ends up with a Y touching a Y, right? If this cell's not red circle, I think I end up with a Y touching a Y. Because if that's not red circle, then red circle can't be a W. So red circle ends up an N. But now this is a Y and it's touching a Y. So that is red circle is the upshot of that, I believe. Now, this just can't be blue circle, because if this is blue circle, then blue is definitely a Y. That would have been the easier deduction to make, that I probably could have made this all much less painful if I had done first. So that is a red circle. This is definitely blue circle by virtue of the fact that blue circle needs to get enough cells, but now blue circle just is a P. So we get that. And so we can do these. Okay, and now red circle can't be a Y because it's touching a Y. So now red circle is an I and blue X is a T. And voila, we have finished the puzzle. Very nice. The end there I could have done without... basically, from the moment we counted how many red or shaded cells we were there was one really nice part here with the shaded cells, but most of it was kind of gritty at the end there, we'll say. But I really loved the rest of it, aside from the little bit at the end. That was delightful, and a really, really natural combination of these two rules too. That interaction piece here was really lovely and was used very very well. The ending could have been a lot worse. Yeah, the point where a puzzle is unique and the point where a puzzle is done are sadly not the same point most of the time. It could be a lot worse. Yeah, yeah, I definitely I think if I'd have noticed the blue here not being able to take that cell earlier, because it would be a Y, it would force a Y, that might have made things nicer. Although I guess I couldn't have done it much earlier because I needed to know that it wasn't going to be an L. So there wasn't too much there that I could have helped, maybe a little bit. Alrighty, though. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. This was a fun day of puzzles. We got to do a sort of a heavy pencil puzzle day. But thank you, everyone, for hanging out. There is no time, unfortunately, for 6x6s. So I'm going to wrap up there and just say thank you to everyone who supports the stream. Thanks to all the green screen names in chat. If you want your own green screen name, you can always subscribe to the channel by going to YouTube and clicking the $ button where it will tell you all of the various options. Do please like the stream if you have not. That is free, and we appreciate it. Last but not least, thank you to the Turbines, Daniel, David, Franco, Nell, Nordy, Plonktime, and Tyson. Thanks, everyone. I had a lot of fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you again for a stream soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.